All right, good afternoon. First of all, just talk about the game Saturday. It was obviously a great outcome to get the win. It was fun to be back and playing at Nippert again in front of our great fans. I mean, awesome white out. Go back and watch the film and just see how everybody's white along the stadium there. It was great atmosphere. We talked about this post game, but I mean, a couple of delayed games, had a false start. I mean, all those things matter. So it's great. We're going to be playing there again this week against Pitt. So, solid performance out of a lot of people, I thought, in the game. As you go back and watch the tape, offensively, I thought very efficient. 658 yards, which ended up being a great day in yardage-wise. I think fifth in the country in yards and, top yardage in the Big 12 in the first weekend. And, obviously like to score more points. Left some points out there. Defensively, really disappointed in a couple of plays, big plays that they were able to hit on us. And then, a couple of late hits on the quarterback that kept drives alive for them. Obviously disappointed in that. And, so some things to work on for sure, defensively to get better as we got Pitt coming up, which is a, different offense this week. And then, special teams-wise, I think, Mason punted the ball great, had 2 bombs. And, kickoff return was really good. But other than that, we had to get better. I mean, we had a kickoff out of bounds. We missed a field goal. We muffed a punt. I mean, we got to get better in that aspect for sure. And, but again, looking back on it overall, it was a great win. We had 34 players, made their debut as Bearcats. I mean, there's a lot of newcomers and that played their first game. Sanks, first freshman to start in a while. Thought he played well. And, I think, obviously something to build off of as we move forward to Pitt. We're excited about playing Pitt and hosting them here. It's been a great rival game over the years. Coach Narduzzi, a guy who coached here, and was a DC for several years. And so he knows a lot about the Bearcats, obviously. And, they're coming off a big win where they scored 55 points. And, a new-look offense. Transfer quarterback from Alabama, really 30 for 40, had a really efficient day. The running back had a big day as well. I think over 250 yards all-purpose, coming in from Western Carolina. Defensively, I mean, they look the same. It's a Narduzzi defense. They're flying around. They're putting pressure on the offense and causing havoc. So, obviously looking forward to the week to play Pitt and, can't wait to get back in Nippert.
Questions for Coach? When you get news like Dante getting cleared, what's the boost in morale upstairs on the 7th floor when you get that word?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously excited for Dante. I think, Dante's been really working really hard this summer and throughout August, as we've been mentioning, just waiting to get the okay to go play. And for him, I mean, he's so excited to be able to opportunity to wear a black jersey at practice and to be able to go out and do the things that everybody else is doing. And, I think obviously he's a great player and you want to have him out there, but more than anything, it's his presence, it's his leadership, it's being able to go out and play with his teammates. I mean, that's what he wants. And, so I think more than anything, that's what we're excited about, to be able to let him go out there and do what he loves to do. And so, it'll be awesome to see the big boy go out there and play.
He's been practicing, but he hasn't been hitting.
That's right.
How soon can he adjust, or can he just roll out of bed and plow people?
Well, I mean, that remains to be seen, right? I mean, we're going to take it day by day and to see how practice goes today and, as we go throughout the rest of the week. I mean, it's still, still going to be a day-to-day thing, but I do know he's worked really hard. I mean, as you mentioned, I mean, he hadn't done the 11-on-11 work, but he's worked individually on some pads and some, working his hands and his feet and all the different things. I mean, that's not real football, as we know, but I think, he's been playing it for most of his life, so I feel like he'll be able to step right in and be able to go.
You mentioned Eli Holstein and Desmond Reed, the new running back, but Cade Bell's in his first year as offensive coordinator. How different did the plays look, the scheme look as a whole for Pitt when you broke them down on film?
From last year? Totally. Totally different. I mean, they're a no-huddle, fast-paced, spread the ball all over the place type offense. I mean, it's, you see these type offenses throughout the country, as you turn the TVs on and watch, watch highlights. I mean, but they're going to spread you out. I mean, they're going to go fast. If you give them an off coverage somewhere, they're going to take it. They're going to throw the ball there. I mean, it's basically a take what they give you type offense. And so, if you spread everybody out, they're going to hand the ball to the running back, and he's obviously a dynamic player. I mean, he also had a punt return for a touchdown this past weekend as well. So he certainly got speed, but the quarterback was efficient in his throws too. He was an accurate passer, catchable balls. I mean, so it's a totally different offense, and so certainly going to have a work cut out for us to try to slow that offense down. I mean, I think Cade Bell, you mentioned he was at Western Carolina, and I think they led the country in FCS offense in 23. And so, he's coming in and really with a lot of confidence, knowing that they can move the football. And then they scored 55 points as well. So, it's certainly different offense compared to what they've had the last couple of years.
Your defense only gave up 3 points in the second half, and that was on the first possession. What can you, from your vantage point, what can you take away from that can carry over into Saturday's game?
Yeah, I mean, we did. We played much better in the second half with that, and the disappointing thing on that was we were off the field and we had the late hit on the quarterback, and they ended up getting an 11-play drive on that. But other than that, I thought we played very solid in the second half. And a lot of it, you go back and look, it was just, being in the right gaps, fitting in the right places. I did think our guys, and I mentioned this after post-game, going back and looking at it, they ran and they played hard. I mean, they were physical. They ran hard, played hard. If as long as we continue to do that, we'll get better at fitting our gaps and being where we're supposed to be. And so those are the things we got to work on and be great this week, because as I mentioned before, I mean, it's a no-huddle offense. If you line up a little bit wrong, you're out of position, they're going to make you pay. So you got to be where you're supposed to be, and then you still got to play fast and hard.
What do you make of Joe Royer's performance on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, it was really good. I mean, he's fun to watch. I think, when you walk out on the field with Joe, and he looks a little different, I think just in general, because, he's such a big player. He's 6'5", 255, and he's got soft hands. He can run. He made plays. It looked like he got maybe a little tired. We were using him a lot in the first half, and and then he catches the ball in the flat and he jumps over the defender, and I was like, wow, that's pretty athletic right there, and so probably like everybody else, just watching him, because he hadn't played a whole lot of football. I think maybe 4 career catches that he's had, and he had 5, Saturday, and so I think he's a very talented player, and I think he, the sky's the limit on what he can do. So. We'll continue to obviously use him, and what goes probably unnoticed is his blocking. I mean, he's an excellent blocker as well, and so to be able to use him in the run game, blocking, but also in the pass game, I mean, he's certainly a weapon.
I know you want to spread the ball around offensively and get it to the open guy, but how much does it help having Royer and then Xavier Henderson on the outside, where you've got kind of 2 feature guys that really demand a lot of attention?
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's nice to have those 2 guys. It's a little bit of a security blanket when you think about those 2, because they both have good size and speed, can catch the football, and they can do some things when they get the ball in their hands. So to be able to have both of those guys, it really helps. And then the other guys made plays. I mean, AT made the play on the first drive there, made a guy miss, and it was a big play. And so I think, those guys are going to make their plays as well throughout the offense, as you mentioned. I mean, if they are double covering those other 2, we got to be able to get the ball to those guys. And so, but it's nice to have 2 guys with size that we feel like they're open a lot of times, and that's a good security blanket for quarterback.
275 running. You ran well against Pitt last year. Do you feel more confident this year with what you saw out of Pryor, what Kiner can do, and then if you want to tell me if Phil Wilder's playing, that'd be nice too.
Well, no, Phil is still questionable on that. We're not sure if we'll have Phil or not, but I think the guys that did play, I thought they played well up front, and I think it was good to see what Pryor was able to do. His first carry, took it to the house, a 60-some yard run. He does have speed. He does have talent. The other thing he can do is catch the ball out of the backfield. He's got really good hands, so we'll probably utilize a little bit more of that. And but we know what Corey can do as well. But a lot of it really just starts with the guys up front. And if you can create a little bit of a crease, or we feel like our guys are going to be able to pop that open and get some big plays. And it was good to see, Pryor make the safety miss and go score. Last year we had some long runs, but we didn't have many long runs for touchdowns, and it was nice to see the touchdown there. And for him to have some juice in his legs to be able to take the distance, it's good to see, and hopefully we see more of that.
Joe talked about after the game on Saturday about the rivalry between Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. You said when you got the job that you've admired the Bearcats program from afar. Have you had conversations with Joe and others about what this rivalry is, and how excited are you to play against Pitt in Nippert Stadium Saturday afternoon?
Oh, very excited to play them here. Yeah, I mean, I've read up on some of the games and the rivalry games. I think it was the last time they were here we won, right? Coach Stewart, our D-line coach, was actually playing maybe one of his last games. So, yeah, I mean, it's a big game. It's an ACC team. It's another power team in another conference. I mean, you get to measure yourself when, as far as that goes, and also, a team that's not far from us, that's right up the road. And to be able to host that team here, to come play us here. I mean, obviously we went over there last year. It was a big win for us last year, and but it's also the next team on our schedule. I mean, we're taking it 1 week at a time, and we got Pitt this week, and we got a great challenge, and we're looking forward to it.
I know you haven't changed DCs a lot in your career, but how much time do you think that takes to adjust to a new guy, a new system, and then obviously on top of that, 15, 20 new guys on defense as well?
Yeah, a lot of guys, a lot of new guys on defense, and what was it, 26 or 27 guys had a tackle on Saturday. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, it takes time. I mean, it's just the little nuances of the defense. Where you have to line up, where do you need to be, your eyes need to be, all those things, and the defense football have to work together. And it does take a little bit of time, and unfortunately we don't have any time. I mean, we got to get ready to go, and we got a much more dynamic offense coming in here this week compared to last week, with a lot more speed at a lot of different places, and and obviously a very talented quarterback. I didn't mention their tight end. He's a really good player. He's been around a long time. I feel like he's played 7 or 8 years, but he's been there a long time, and last year had a big game against us as well. So there's a lot of challenges when you look at this and what they do offensively, and so we got to get it corrected this week. Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I noticed was the amount of time that Sorsby had back there, I thought, from a pass protection standpoint, which is something you brought up that needed to be better this year.
That's right.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah, it really was. The guys they did a great job up front on Saturday. Just a couple of times where he had to get out of the pocket, and one of the things that we wanted to see with Sorsby is how would he react out of the pocket. Those unscheduled plays, and I thought he did an outstanding job with that. Dumping the ball off, keeping his eyes up down the field. A great example was when he came out to the left and found Sterling down the sideline where the blown coverage. I mean, sometimes it's hard to see that guy all the way down. And he was able to see it and make the throw. So I thought he did a great job with that. But the guys up front did good. And obviously, a bigger challenge this week, with what Pitt does. And, when I was in the ACC for those 4 years, I mean, Pitt was always one of the top sack teams in the country. And not even sure how many they had last week, but they hit the quarterback a lot last week. And they were in the backfield. I felt like the whole game. So we're going to have a plan, getting rid of the football, and have a plan of how we're going to protect. And, get rid of the ball, I think, is probably the biggest thing.
You mentioned Jaquan Sanks started as a true freshman. Obviously, when he got here, he was physically impressive. But when did you kind of realize that it goes from being physically impressive to someone who could start in his first ever college game?
Yeah, I think probably sometime during camp, because we're repping 3 to 4 guys at that star position and getting them a lot of reps in there. Really looked at the scrimmages that we had, a couple of big scrimmages, and he just did a little bit better. And and then I think you go out there and watch him this past week. I thought, man, he played a really good game for his first college football game. He's got poise. I mean, and maturity for a young player. That's and his body's already pretty physically imposing for a true freshman at this point of his career. So, and I think he'll just continue to get better and better this year. And really, what he lacks is experience. And so, obviously, that was a good game for him to get experience. Now, it's a different animal this week, so he'll have to continue to improve and all that. But I'm very proud of how he went out and played.
I know it's been a long time since Narduzzi's been here, but are there any similarities that you see that stand out with his Pitt teams now and when he was here at Cincinnati?
Well, I think just defensively, he's always obviously been a defensive mind, and I feel like, wherever he's like Michigan State or at Pitt, I mean, he's been at Pitt now, I think, 10 years. You really can turn the film on from any point in time, and it's very similar defensively. Some of the same blitzes, the aggressive nature and aggressive style. One of the things that I'm very impressed with is when they do bring pressure, they're relentless, and all his teams have been that way. Like it's crazy. I mean, that's how they're coaching them, obviously, because they've all been that way. It doesn't matter who the guys are. So he does a great job with it. And when you do that, you always give yourself a chance, when you play great defense. So I do think there's a lot of similarities of how he's played defense throughout his whole career.
I know it's only been one game, but Sorsby won Big 12 Newcomer of the Week. And somebody with his skill set, how much do you feel like he opens up the offensive playbook?
Yeah, I think as long as he continues to make good decisions, then we can continue to build on the playbook and add more things to it, because it really all comes down to decision making. Having a plan with the ball, when the ball is snapped, depending on what the defense has given us. And again, Sorsby is a sophomore. I mean, he's a young player. So, doesn't have a ton of experience. And so he's still learning things and what he sees out there. But I did like his poise. I liked the way his vision was and his decision making. So, hopefully he'll continue to build on that. Again, this week will be different, a new challenge. And let's hope he'll be ready for this challenge this week.
What stood out with Sorsby when you watch film with him, when he breaks down what he's doing out there? What did you like from that? And how much do you coach up a young quarterback about, hey, this is how we watch film here, maybe as opposed to where you did in the past? Yeah,
I mean, we just try to, go through it and the way we see it as coaches and what we're looking for. And, depending on what the play is, I mean, hey, we're looking for this certain thing. If they give us, if he does this, then we're going to do that, and really kind of coach through that. And on Saturday, it was good to see because whenever he'd come off, hey, what'd you see? And he'd tell you what it was. And, now we can go back and look at it on the iPad there and say, oh, yeah, there it is. Can't really lie. You got to, we can't. What you see is what you better tell us. And so it was good. I mean, again, he missed a couple reads on Saturday. One of them was when he hit Jamoy early in the game. He scores the next play on a zone play, but he probably had a touchdown pass. He turned it down. He thought it was a little cloudy, and then came right to Jamoy, threw a first down, which was great. But those are the type things. But I mean, if you see that and you think it's cloudy, then don't make the throw. And we'll just have to coach through that. But I do think as he goes back and he watches film, and he'll learn and he'll grow from that. And I think, but the game is kind of slow for him, especially for a guy who's just a true, redshirt sophomore.
A lot of talk about Marquez Parker in the through camp. He didn't see action Saturday. Is he close? Are you still trying to get him fully up to speed? I
do think he's close. Again, hard for a freshman to come in and play, but he's certainly got talent. He's got good size. I mean, he's close to 275 now. He's got twitch. He's one of the faster D linemen that we have. And so, yeah, it's just going to be a matter of mentally getting him ready, and hopefully he's getting closer to that because I feel like we'll certainly be able to use him this year. I mean, he's a guy that I think has a huge ceiling, and why not try to get him in there early in the year and see what he can do, and hopefully becomes a player for us this year. I mean, I think he's certainly got the talent for it.
Good.
Freshmen, Simeon Coleman, Monte Whedon, they did not look like freshmen, the way that they played and the way that they hit. Is their physicality really what sets those two apart?
It is. They're fun to watch. Both of those guys are fun to watch, and they're a little bit like Parker because they're still learning. I mean, they're going to make mistakes. It's like, you grade Simeon, you're like, all right, that's a minus on what you're supposed to do, but great tackle. And it feels like there's a lot of that. He somehow just finds the ball, right? And ultimately, that's what we want. But and then when he does, he's got bad intentions. Like he always knocks the guy back, always, and which is a great trait to have if you're a linebacker. Because he's low center of gravity and he has a great punch. And Monte's the same way. And both of those guys are fun to watch. Man, they got bright futures ahead of them. But hopefully, as we go throughout the season, they'll get more and more comfortable playing and be able to get out there and make a lot more plays for us.
Guys got touches Saturday. Was there any one that you said, wow, I'd really like to get him more involved?
I don't. Joe Royer, just keep feeding him the ball. Maybe, I don't know. He does some good things when you get him the ball. I mean, I think he had 5 catches. He could have. Yeah, I think it was all in the first half. Yeah, but we didn't throw it in the fourth quarter either. So, I don't know. I mean, I like to see some more Jamoy too. I like to see what he can do. I think he's a good size player that I think can do some great things when he gets the ball in his hand. Tyron Smith, I'd like to be able to try to get him loose a little bit down the field. I think he really runs well. But I think overall, I mean, we certainly want to take what the defense gives us, and try to find those guys different ways to get the ball in space and see what they can do. But I mean, obviously we were pleased, with the output of yardage that we had. We were able to move the football And hopefully these guys, I mean, particularly these young guys, I mean, the new guys, I mean, Jamoy and Tony and Tyron, I mean, those new guys, let's see what they can do when they get those opportunities. All right, thanks, guys.
A little bit of a lighter load than usual throughout camp. Only a couple carries on Saturday against Towson. Are you ready to get back there and put up 15, 20, 25 carries this coming weekend?
Yes, sir. I'm ready for whatever my role is this weekend. However many times they give me the ball, I'm prepared to help the team in any way.
What kind of a lift is that just to the team in general?
Just Dante's presence alone is great for us. So having him back on the field is fantastic.
You said you were working on your twitch and your bursts in the offseason. When you look back at your film, did you kind of see that you look quicker and that you look twitchier?
Oh, yeah, yes, sir. I felt like I was able to get in and out of cuts very fast this week. Hopefully I get to show it again this week.
Cincinnati, what does this rivalry against Pittsburgh mean to you? I know you grew up here. You've played in a game against them, but what's it going to be like to play against them in Nippert Stadium where you grew up?
It's going to be great. I'm eager to just to play. I mean, it really doesn't matter who we play against. We want to defend Nippert Stadium. We won't want to take any losses in that stadium.
Coach Satterfield just gave a lot of praise to the offensive line for their performance on Saturday. Just talk about what you saw from them after rewatching the game on film.
Every time I touched the ball, I was in the second level, so that's like Christmas every play for me. That's all I ask is get me close to those linebackers and safeties, then I'll do the rest. And they did that, so I mean, I love those guys.
You had a career game against him last year. Now, different year and all that, but how confident are you with the offensive line and what you guys did Saturday? You spread the ball, even you were 8 yards a carry with what you had. So, are you feeling good going into this one with the run game, and can you pop 150 plus more?
I'm very confident in our O-line and our whole offense. We prepare, we put in a lot of work, and I'm eager to see how things turn out.
Feel like there was more space. You've got X out wide. You've got Joe Royer. Got a lot of weapons at wide receiver. Did it feel like the box was maybe a little bit lighter?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it felt like it was a little lighter. Just based off who we played, it was going to be light. But they got to respect the whole offense. Like, they know that they emphasize the run. They're going to get hit deep. They emphasize getting hit deep. We're going to gash them.
Running backs, whether in college or in the NFL, that you like to model your game after, or you watch film of to like pick up on tendencies that they do?
So I have like a whole list of running backs that are similar to my size in my phone, like size and height and weight and stuff like that. Kenneth Walker, David Montgomery, like all those guys, Jalen Warren from the Steelers, all those guys, I just watch all of their film. And I try to pick up things that they're doing well as far as pass blocking, cutting, and all that kind of stuff, and just try to emulate it on the field.
Talk about that running back room a little bit more. Obviously, you and Evan are that 1-2 punch. What was your reactions to seeing break loose for that first
I was happy.
touchdown?
I was happy. Just knowing Evan and knowing what he's been through in college so far, I was happy to finally see him get his opportunity and make the most of it. Because, like I said before in past interviews, the whole running back room has gotten really close this offseason. And I got really close to Evan, and I got to really know what he's like as a person. And it just makes me so happy to see him get his opportunity. Appreciate you.
Jack, take us through going through the first game in a new system, trying to make sure everybody's in the right spot, trying to make sure you're filling your gaps. It looked like it took you guys a little bit of time to get on that same page, but then once you did, it clicked a little bit.
I mean, yeah, we obviously started off a little sloppy there. You know, it's a new team. You know, how Lippers like very loud and stuff like that. Just communication out there in that loud environment, just getting the connection out there. And it was very difficult at first, but by about halftime we came together and figured it out.
What's it mean to have number 2 in front of you again, and how does it make your job as a linebacker easier if he's wrestling a couple guys?
No, I'm excited for him to be back. I mean, he's a big, strong guy, and we definitely need that depth back there. We need Dante back. It's going to be a lot easier, especially up front. We have a lot of guys that can do it also, but we're excited for him to be back.
When you looked at the film, what was the number one takeaway about what needed to improve kind of heading into this game against Pitt?
Just the execution of our plays and stuff like that. Just the focus. We lost a little focus throughout the week. Just losing like the little details that we need to clean up, and that's about it. But it's just about the connection part, our communication skills, especially out there in a loud environment.
First game of the season, obviously. Just walk us through as a player what it's like to have those tablets on the sideline to make you see that progression and everything go on easier.
I mean, it's awesome. I mean, the coach can coach you right there a lot faster. You don't have to remember the plays that you went through and tell him what's happening out there. He can just go back and look at it and tell you what's going on and how we need to react to that situation.
You had a real good game against him last year. This offense is totally different, though. They're going to be chucking it around. How does that change things for
It's
you?
a little different offense. I mean, they're more of a tempo team, which will be a challenge for us. They like to move the ball fast. They like to get the ball off fast, and it's going to be a tough one here.
How is that adjustment when you're dealing with so many new guys and not just a new system? You're communicating, you know, Jared is new and the defensive line is new and Golday is new. Like, what is that process of just getting, is it just a matter of getting enough reps where you guys are comfortable going through the communication process?
I mean, everyone's different in how they play and how they want to communicate, and you just got to adjust to how you're communicating with some of those guys out there because you don't know them as well. But I think going through camp and all that stuff, you kind of build a relationship with them and see how it is. But then you go out into a loud environment, you kind of figure out. We got our feet wet for the first time, so you just kind of see how they like to communicate things and how they react to things.
Defense, when Jared kind of uses his speed, gets to the quarterback, is there kind of like a moment like, okay, like I've got some probable dudes around me that can support me and that can help me out?
I mean, it's awesome to have him. Seeing that first, like that play that he made was awesome. It gave me a sort of confidence. Like we got some good dudes around me, and they can also make plays, and I just got to do my part.
Are there any linebackers in college or in the NFL that you like to watch film of, kind of model your game after?
I like to watch Luke Kuechly's old highlights because he would. There's some videos of him calling out the plays right away, so it makes me get in the film room more, talk to my coaches more, so I can anticipate the snap before it's even played.
Great Golday in his first game as a Bearcat.
Yeah, I mean, he's also getting his feet wet a little bit here. He said it was awesome, that crowd out there, but he's a big physical guy, and he played really well.
Cool. Any questions for Jack? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
of the week shirt and any trinkets and stuff?
Nothing yet. I haven't received anything. If anything is on the way, I'm excited about it. But if not, not expecting anything either. So just fired up, obviously, to get named newcomer of the week, and hopefully you can keep building off that.
Get a chance to sit down and go over the tape with Pete and Coach Sat. What was your takeaway from your performance? Maybe where you think you can step some things up a little bit.
Yeah, I felt really good operationally out there. Still think I could be a little bit smarter decision-making wise. Obviously, just knowing the situation, knowing that you don't always have to force some stuff and just, take what the defense is given to you, and, everything will end up working out if you just do that. And, like I said on Saturday, that we left a lot of points on the field, and I still believe that after watching the film. Obviously, we watched the film on the sideline as well after every drive, but still the same feedback from Coach Thomas, and just talking with him that, just take what they give you and we'll be good.
A lot of guys got touches. Anyone that you would have liked to have gotten another touch to, or I mean, you're the quarterback. They're probably always telling you that they're open.
Yeah, yeah, would have liked to get. Obviously, Tyron and Tony didn't get a catch. Obviously, Tony got that little pitch that was never supposed to happen, but it ended up happening. He got that little pitch, was able to make something out of nothing there, and would have liked to get both of them the ball as far as just receiving wise. But we'll see what happens this week. Hopefully, we can get all the guys involved.
Evan Pryor kind of had a pretty quiet fall camp. Didn't see a lot of bursts, and then just takes 164 yards of the house. What's it like to know that you have that explosive back behind you, who's tied with Chance on the depth chart after such a good running back in Corey?
Yeah, like I said, the last time we were in here, I said that I was confident in all of our running backs, and I still stand by that. And all of them have different strengths, and all of them can burst a little bit. And obviously, we got to see that with Ev, and he did a great job finding the hole and taking off. And obviously, it was good to see him take one to the house.
Joe talked about it after the game, and Coach Satterfield today. Have you had any conversations about this rivalry, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, and how excited are you to play against them at Nippert Stadium on Saturday?
Yeah, I'm fired up, especially after, being there on Saturday. Obviously, being in Nippert for the first time was really cool. Getting to see the atmosphere and feel the atmosphere. I'm excited to get back, against Pitt, with it being a rivalry game. And just, like they've said, I mean, every game you got to go in there and find a way to win a game. So obviously it's no different whether it's a rivalry or not. You just got to go in there and just find a way to win.
Offensive line protected you pretty well, no sacks. Pitt really comes after the quarterback. So what do you have to do to the O-lineman? A few extra steaks or something? Or?
Yeah, maybe take them out to dinner or something. But yeah, those big boys up front did a great job. I expect that every week. That group's very talented, and they play really well together. So just excited to see how they perform on Saturday, and looking forward to it.
You have to anticipate with how much you fed X and Royer that Pitt's going to pay attention to them. How important is it to maybe not lock onto that and let a play develop? And you have to think there's going to be guys open if there's doubles there.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, if somebody's being double teamed, then somebody else is either uncovered or has a good matchup. So just preaching to all the guys, all week long, that there's a good chance the ball is coming to you, no matter who you are, whether it's X, whether it's Royer, or any of the other guys. So really just making sure that everybody knows and that they could get the ball and that they're ready for it.
Your thoughts on Dante coming back?
Fired up. Obviously, you haven't got to practice a ton against him during fall camp and everything with everything that's gone on, but got to see him in spring ball. Was kind of glad that he was out for fall camp. Obviously, giving me a little bit extra time to go through some reads and everything. But he's a difference maker, and I'm fired up that he's on our side and he's back.
You had that rollout, you hit Sterling, and you got out of the pocket a lot more on the day. Do you think that that's one of your biggest strengths? And are you kind of looking forward to showing fans that it's not really one read and then run? It's I can keep my eyes downfield and complete some passes.
Yeah, I don't like to just look at one spot and then just start to move. Obviously, if I get through my read and nothing's there, then you got to make something happen and try to let your guys work after the play's over, and really just trying to extend plays, make something out of nothing whenever that happens. And whether that's running for a first down, getting out of the pocket and then finding Sterling or someone like that, really just trying to be a playmaker out there and find ways to move the chains and score points.
What did you enjoy most about having an offensive head coach now in game? Certainly that wasn't the situation you walked into at IU. How does that change how you operate in game?
Obviously, he played the position as well. He played quarterback, so, he sees it from a quarterback's point of view, and, it's always good to talk with him, seeing what he's thinking as well. And obviously he's calling the game as if he was playing it. So, I'm confident that he thinks that he trusts me. So obviously, if he can trust me and I can go out there and make plays for him, he's going to call an aggressive game, and I like that. So, we'll get to see more this Saturday and going forward. But I'm just, glad that we do have an offensive head coach.
On a personal note, you grew up in Denton, Texas. What college team did you follow when you were growing up?
I was a big OU fan. Obviously, Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray, those are two guys that I got to watch a little bit whenever I was younger. Then I was, whenever I was younger, though, I was a big Johnny Manziel guy. So got to follow him around a little bit, go to a couple of games whenever I was young and he was playing at A&M. So really just kind of all over. But, probably an OU fan just growing up and everything. So.
Briefly touched on the atmosphere there on Saturday. Just after watching the film and kind of collecting your thoughts after Saturday, what was your overall thoughts of first time out there in Nippert Stadium?
Felt good. I felt really calm and poised out there, and like I said, I was operating really well, and it was loud, but still was able to communicate to everybody, and just excited to feel the atmosphere again on Saturday, and hopefully it's louder, more packed, and we got to go find a way to win this one as well.
Brendan, football doesn't have quite the same ring to it.
Yeah, no, not the same. Maybe we can think of something between now and the end of the season going forward, but definitely not the same ring.
With the RPOs coming in, the art of like a real play action kind of has been lost in football.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you pick that up? Because it seems to be something you're really comfortable with, the handwork and getting your feet set. And saw it on the throw to X for the touchdown.
Yeah, in high school, obviously we did a lot of it. So obviously getting some reps there was big, and then at IU we did a good amount of it as well. So really just repetition. Obviously going forward, just the more reps, you're only going to get better at it. So obviously I do take pride in the play action game. Obviously I think it's really good for us, and if we can do it well, and we can run the ball well, I think it'll be really good for us.
Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all.